Joe Biden officially out. Is anyone surprised?
I was a little bit surprised. I think there remains a lot of bitterness between the Obamas and the Clintons, no love lost. And I think the Obama White House would have loved for Joe Biden to get in the race and would have lent him some subtle support at the beginning and perhaps some more overt support down the line. And so I was surprised to see him not running.
Surprised? I mean, was it the Rose Garden setting, Charles, and the fact that the president was right there that sort of tipped you off? Although it would have been a great in-your-face moment to Hillary Clinton to announce in such a way.
Yeah, the better in-your-face moment would have been if he'd come onto the stage at the empty podium in the last debate. That would really have stuck it to it. I wasn't surprised now. 2 months ago, I thought he would run. He seemed to be an attractive candidate. He connects with voters that she doesn't. He left it so long in terms of infrastructure, fundraising. There was already a debate. I thought he was out. So it didn't surprise me today.
And David, I mean, that's the thing. People, everyone says, well, he could still get in it. But you can't just go, I'm going to run for president, and you have to still get on the ballot. You have to have a ground game.
Yeah, you can't create a 50-state campaign out of thin air right at the very last minute. That just doesn't happen, or very rarely happens. What this tells me is that the Democratic leadership must have a lot more confidence that Hillary Clinton's going to escape any lasting controversies from the emails, must have a lot more confidence than one would expect in her ability as a campaigner that she's not been showing so far, and a lot more confidence that the media is just going to kind of move on now and look at the emails as yesterday's news, as Benghazi as yesterday's news, and move forward with a fresh start for Hillary Clinton.
And Jim, I did think, as Charles was saying a couple of months ago, maybe he would mount some sort of effort, particularly when the president said, oh, I think Joe would make a great president. That sounded to me like an endorsement, but you know, you can't catch up.
There's an old saying about when a guy wants to get married, you know what he does? He proposes. When somebody wants to run for president, you know what they do? They announce they're running for president. They go out, they do things like holding fundraisers and trying to secure support and things like that. David had mentioned the deadlines. It was around early November, around November 9th or so, is when you had to get on the deadline to be listed on the ballot in Alabama. Now, Alabama isn't the biggest state, but those kind of logistical deadlines were actually starting to hit there. And with so little action on that front, it kind of seemed indicated that his heart just really wasn't into this.
Yeah, and Eliana, even if he did want to, even if he had decided months ago that he was going to mount this campaign, I mean, he would still have to match Hillary Clinton in fundraising. He would still have to get a ground game in 50 states while simultaneously deflecting attacks from her. And they've kind of already threatened him in not so subtle ways.
Oh yeah, the Clinton campaign made very clear that they were going to start dishing opposition research on Biden, and they made clear exactly what that opposition research were going to be. There were a couple of external forces also that I think weighed on Biden at the very end. One was the self-inflicted wounds Republicans made on the Benghazi committee, Kevin McCarthy saying essentially that it was politically driven committee intended to damage Hillary Clinton. One defector coming out from the committee to say that it was politically driven. And then Hillary Clinton's strong performance in the debate. And I think that took whatever momentum Biden would have had. I think it robbed him of a lot of momentum and also solidified the Democratic leadership in the party behind Hillary Clinton.
Right. And Charles, one of the things that I noticed Joe Biden didn't say in his Rose Garden address, which he went on for quite a long time. I mean, all he had to do was say, I'm not running, and that could have been it. And maybe it's because there are other people, although I think it's kind of a formality at this point. He didn't say, well, I throw my support to Hillary Clinton. Do you think he will ever do that as it gets closer, even if she does become the candidate? I just can't see that bad blood between President Obama and Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. Is that something that you expect that they'll do?
No. One of the reasons I don't think they'll do it, it's not just the bad blood, it's that the role of many Democratic politicians now, and many people on the left, is to get whoever the candidate eventually is to be more like them. That's why I think Bernie Sanders is ultimately running. He probably doesn't think that he can win. Maybe he's beginning to think he might be able to, but he probably didn't start running to win. He started to run because he wanted to pull her to the left. He wanted to make sure she didn't, in his eyes, sell out. Now, if I was Joe Biden, I would be trying to do the same thing. If I stand up now and say I'm behind Hillary Clinton, well, then I lose my leverage. If he waits, if he keeps making points as he did today, you know, calling half the country your enemies isn't particularly smart. He can change her, he can improve her. I imagine he'll wait until the end.